Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is the Marion City Council meeting for Thursday, January 9th, 2020. This is our first meeting of the year. Please rise for the presentation of the colors by Marion's PAC 89 and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Color Guard attention. Color Guard advance. Scout salute. Color Guard post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. So I have a special connection with PAC 89. I was a member of the Boy Scout Troop 89 here in Marion, growing up. So, roll call, please.
Mr. Draper, Ms. Atkins.
Here.
Mr. Jensen.
Here.
Mayor Aboasley.
Here.
Mr. Brandt.
Here.
Ms. Cadelia. Mr. Sternad.
Here.
Okay, first on our agenda are the oaths of office, and I've invited two judges to administer the oath of office tonight. Judge Faye Hoover Grindy went to high school with me, and she was always a class act in high school and still is today, and it means a lot to me that she's here. And she's with the Lynn County District Court, and Judge Mark Roberts is with the United States Federal District Court. I worked with Judge Roberts for 20 years and have a great deal of respect for him, and I really appreciate his being here tonight and agreeing to help us with this to make it extra special. So we have myself, Paul Draper, Colette Atkins, and Will Brandt taking the oath of office tonight. Unfortunately, Councilmember Draper is not feeling well and wasn't able to be here tonight. So we'll have Council members Atkins and Brandt and myself come down front for the oath of office.
Good evening. It's my distinct pleasure to be here to administer the oath of office to Marion's Mayor, Nick Aboasley. I don't go as far back as the Boy Scout troop, but I have known Nick for many, many years. We both attended and graduated from Linn-Mar High School. And obviously, if he worked with Judge Roberts for 20 years, Nick was an exceptional student and made it through law school when he was about 18. But as I thought about the opportunity tonight, I just thought about knowing Nick, knowing his family for these many years, and couldn't help but ponder what do we think of when we think of a good leader, and we think of someone who is selfless, who recognizes the needs of others, the needs of a community before his own needs, the ability to lead, to take people where they want to go, and in order to know where a group of people wants to go, that leader needs to be a good communicator. And communication involves speaking clearly and also listening, having the patience and the understanding the importance of listening to what others have to say. Humility is also a part of being a good leader, and inspiring those that you work with to be the best that they can be by recognizing their strengths and allowing them to be the best that they can be. Nick and I had a conversation just it was within the last month or 2 months when Nick was being recognized with a citizenship award from the Lynn County Bar Association. He was receiving the physical award. He'd been recognized, I think, at the June meeting. But we had a short conversation, and I just commented to him on how well it appeared that the city of Marion was doing, and I congratulated him on the growth and progress of this community, and he immediately said, I work with great people, and I recognize all the people who are making things happen that make me look good. So these are characteristics they aren't a cloak that Nick donned when he became the mayor of Marion. This is who Nick has been since he was a young man. We were, like I said, we went to high school together. We were in band together, and he has always been a friend. He's always had the ability to listen, to understand, and been a lot of fun. So Marion is in good hands again. And it is my distinct pleasure and honor to be here to administer the oath to Mayor Nick Abawasley. So Nick, if you would step forward, please. If you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Nicholas Abawasley,
I, Nicholas Abuasili,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa
and the ordinances of the City of Marion,
and the ordinances of the City of Marion,
Iowa, sorry.
Iowa,
And that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of the office of mayor
discharge all the duties of the office of mayor
in the City of Marion, Iowa,
in the City of Marion, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
Congratulations,
Thank
Mayor.
you.
I'd like to say a few words about the people who it's my honor to give the oath to tonight, but I haven't ever met them before. I'm sure they're great, and they got elected by a great city, so I know they'll do a wonderful job. I do know Nick. I've known him for over 20 years. I was going to brag, but compared to some people in this room, that's just a drop in the bucket. He's got Marion in his blood. I'll tell you something you might not know. Maybe you've learned about Nick. I was going to say that he's a worrywart, but that's not fair to him. Sometimes he worries about things, but if he's doing your title opinion, or he's minding your city and your budget and everything like that, it's great to have someone that is actually sweating the details. Nick cares about the details, and it's going to be right on his watch, so you're lucky to have him. So it's my honor tonight to administer the oath, first of all, to Council Member Ward 1, Colette Atkins. We haven't practiced this at all, so I promised I'd break it up into small bits. Okay. I, Co.
Co.
Let Atkins.
Do
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa
and the ordinance of the City of Marion, Iowa,
and the ordinance of the City of Marion, Iowa,
and I will faithfully and impartially,
and I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of the office of council member,
discharge all the duties of the office of council member,
Ward 1,
Ward 1,
in the City of Marion, Iowa,
in the City of Marion, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter as required by law. Thank you.
And now that he's heard it twice, it'll be easier for Will Brandt. Nice to meet you. Good. I, Will Brandt,
I, Will Brandt,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa
and the ordinance of the City of Marion, Iowa,
and the ordinance of the City of Marion, Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
of the office of Council Member Ward 3
of the office of Council Member of Ward 3
in the City of Marion, Iowa,
in the City of Marion, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law. Thank you.
It's going to take a minute so they can have pictures. I'd invite my family to come up for pictures, but it might be the whole room, so we might. Did you want to take pictures?
My two guys are so excited about it. And I'm just telling you all, the only reason why I'm doing this is just 2 minutes ago I saw my son lean over to my husband and say, "Are we going to get our picture taken?" You bet.
And what the heck? Come on up if you want. Let's get a family picture. Whoever would like to. Dad? Christiane? Come on. Come on. That's okay. Come on up. Hold on one more. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you again to the judges and for everyone for being here. I just have a few remarks, just for a couple of minutes. There's no doubt that this is an exciting time for the city of Marion, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to serve and be part of the decision-making at this time in our city's history. I'm proud to work with this council. I'm proud of their commitment to serve the community responsibly and with honor, integrity, and transparency. Thank you to the voters for their strong endorsement of our council's work in the election and for giving us the opportunity to continue working together. Thank you to our city manager, Lon Placon, and our entire city team for what you do every day to serve Marion's residents and for working with us to build an atmosphere of trust and collaboration as we move our city forward with a common purpose. As I often say, we have so much to be proud of as a community. We're moving so fast that we don't often have time to stop and reflect. There's a lot to celebrate. But we can't rest on our accomplishments. We have more work to do in order to fully deliver on our stated goal of making Marion the best place in Iowa to raise a family and grow a business. We're on the right track, and working together with a common purpose and a vision, we can accomplish a lot more. Undoubtedly, our city is undergoing a lot of change, and change is always accompanied by opportunities. Not all cities get this opportunity. It's up to us to decide what to do with the opportunities. We can settle for where we are, or we can dream bigger, work harder, and reach higher to seize opportunities and help our city achieve its fullest potential for the benefit of current and future generations. Marion's success isn't the work of one or a few people. It is the work of an entire community, a community that believes in its own potential and desires progress. We all have a role to play, and everyone can make a positive impact if we choose to be constructive with our words and our actions. If we say why not to new ideas before we say no. If we choose to support and inspire each other and our community. If we choose to see the best in each other, focus on the positives, move past the obstacles, and set the example of cooperation and collaboration for the greater good. There's room at the table for everyone. My hand remains outstretched, and my door remains open to all who wish to be part of the solutions and who want to work for a bright and prosperous future for Marion. I'm excited about the next 4 years and humbled to have the opportunity to continue being part of this team. I look forward to giving Marion residents many more reasons to celebrate as we collaborate as a city council, city staff, and business community and community partners to build the city and community we all desire, where all people feel valued and have great opportunities to achieve their own goals and experience an amazing quality of life. Thank you. So now we'll proceed with our meeting as the agenda states. First up, we have a recognition by the fire department. Chief?
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Tonight, I would like to take the opportunity to publicly recognize one of our firefighter paramedics who has reached higher. He applied for a program through the National Fire Academy. The program was designed for officers within the fire service. This firefighter is not yet an officer of the department, but had served our department as an acting lieutenant when his shift lieutenant was absent. This program is not one in which everyone is accepted to attend. The application process is rigorous and requires a beyond high school education as well as written recommendation from the department's fire chief. So tonight I'd like to recognize firefighter paramedic Ryan Steffen. Would you please come forward? He graduated from the National Fire Academy's Managing Officer Program. The Managing Officer Program is a 2-year commitment which requires 5 prerequisite online and classroom courses which are provided by the State of Iowa Fire Service Training Bureau as well as the National Fire Academy. During the 2-year period, the trainee must attend 4 of the National Fire Academy on-site courses and must complete a final capstone project. The capstone project is an applied research project which takes hours of research, data analysis, and final research report with recommendations. Ryan's capstone project was succession planning for the Marion Fire Department. His work will be used by the department in our upcoming succession planning programs. This accomplishment represents Ryan's dedication to personal and professional excellence and a commitment to enhance the Marion Fire Department and the community of Marion. So, in recognition of a successful completion of the requisite courses of study, the National Fire Academy, under the authority granted by the 115th Congress of the United States of America, awards this certificate of completion of the Managing Officer Program to Ryan Joseph Steffen with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations, Ryan.
Congratulations. Thank you. Very cool. Okay, moving on with our agenda, we have a public forum at this time for members of the public who would like to address the council on any item that is on the agenda but not part of a public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on any item that's on the agenda but not part of a public hearing, this is the time to do so. Please come forward.
All right, good evening. My name is Nick Martins. I'm an investigator with the police department, and I also have the privilege of being the president of the Marion Policemen's Protective Association, which represents police officers, records clerks, dispatchers for the city of Marion. I'm here today to talk about the proposed drug testing policy that you were told about on Tuesday, and the decision on whether or not to, or who to subject to random drug testing. During that work session on Tuesday, council was given the impression that the police and fire unions were 100% behind this policy, which is not true, and I'll explain why. Last summer, the city came to both the unions and proposed a drug testing policy. That policy was very poorly written and violated our privacy, and honestly, contained in the policy were rules that would have allowed me to mask my drug use by following the policy. So obviously, needless to say, we were not excited about it and we did not want to agree to it. The city was unwilling to change it to alleviate our concerns, so negotiations ended with the city deciding to simply implement the policy. As kind of a last-ditch effort, we were able to arrange a meeting with Jen Kettleson from City Hall, Chief Krebel, Chief Kitzmiller, and Tracy Petrick with CJ Cooper, who would be doing all of the testing for the city. I felt that meeting went very well, and by the end of it, we had decided that policy just wasn't going to cut it. It wasn't up to snuff, and it didn't contain what we wanted to contain, to be fair to all employees. And so it was scrapped and reworked. Fast forward a month and a half, and the new policy came out with CJ Cooper's help. They drafted it, and that's what you saw on Tuesday. So we met again, the same group of people, to discuss the new policy and some minor language changes that we would like to see, and just some clarifications that we'd like. At the end of that meeting, I thought we were in a good place and we left, and I was excited to move forward and work with the city and get this done. I was pretty discouraged to hear that during those discussions, it was brought up that only safety-sensitive employees would be randomly tested. It doesn't define safety-sensitive employees, but it would include police, fire, public works, parks and rec, and lifeguards, things like that. And so I just have one question for you is, honestly, who can do more damage? Someone driving a parks and rec truck, or someone at City Hall who has access to bank accounts, personal information, my information, and things like that. So I would argue that everyone is safety sensitive. If the concern that council has are the costs associated with adding more employees to that pool, it's my understanding, and I don't want to put words in Tracy's mouth, but she wants to speak later today, but adding to the pool is only a certain number of people will get tested every quarter, so there's no additional cost. It's totally free, and if anything, I'm going to get tested less the more people that's in it statistically. I've lived in Marion my entire life. I graduated from Linmar High School. I've had 3 jobs in my life. I started at Fairway, went across the street to Hy-Vee, then went across the street to the police department. So this is where I've chose to raise my family. I'm blessed to have those opportunities. I'm blessed to be a police officer. And in the 9 years that I've been a police officer, I've seen firsthand the impact of illegal drugs on families and the community. You're not going to find a group of people anywhere that want a drug-free workplace more than at the police and fire department. The only thing I ask is that we are all held to the same high standard. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else address the council?
Excuse me, you'll have to forgive me, I'm fighting a bit of a cold. Mayor, City Council members, my name is Nathan Rafa, and I'm the president of the Marion Firefighters Association, Local 1937. And I'm here to represent them, which is comprised of nearly all career firefighters, lieutenants, and captains of the Marion Fire Department, many of who are seated back here tonight. Tuesday during the council work session, the council was presented with a drug policy and the option to have random drug testing applied to certain groups of employees, or to all employees. To my surprise, some of the council indicated they support only testing safety-sensitive employees. Our fire union supports a drug-free workplace. The importance of having a drug-free workplace is quite obvious. But why wouldn't we want to promote a drug-free workplace for the entire city? In Tuesday's work session, it was said safety-sensitive employees should be tested only from the standpoint of how the public would view that. How will it look to the public when the city's administration would enforce a policy that applies to everyone but themselves? Then it was said that it could be further narrowed down to the police and fire department, simply because citizens absolutely expect them to be clean all of the time. Mr. Mayor, City Council members, I'm a tax-paying citizen of this city, and I expect all city employees to be clean all of the time. I would like to point out some information on substance abuse in the workplace. From 2008 to 2012, the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, along with the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, conducted a report on substance abuse in the workplace. The report showed that 5.7% of those in healthcare and social assistance had reported illicit drug use in the past year. But what the study also showed is that 11.4% of those in management positions had reported illicit drug use in the past year. This study shows that some of the very group you could be excluding from random drug testing or have a higher chance of illicit drug use than safety-sensitive employees do. So what legitimate reason would the city have to apply random testing to only safety-sensitive employees? If cost is of concern, it's my understanding there's little or zero cost difference for random drug testing between safety-sensitive employees and all employees. Tuesday, council was given the impression that the bargain units were 100% supportive of whatever the city council should decide. Let me be clear. The Marion Professional Firefighters Association does not support a drug policy unless it is applied equally to all employees or to none of them. I love our city. That is why I chose to live in Marion, and that is why I choose to serve Marion. I believe in this city. I believe in its future and its vision. But if we are to promote a workplace of togetherness, singling out a group of employees does the opposite. It segregates us. Our citizens deserve nothing less than the very best from their city and its employees. By segregating safety-sensitive employees and expecting only this portion of our city's employees to abide by the standards of this drug policy, I believe a dangerous precedent is being set. All sections of our city government serve the public and should be held to the same high standard, regardless of title. No employee in the city of Marion is more or less important than the next, but that is precisely the message that will be sent if the council decides to single out safety-sensitive employees. Those that are implementing this policy and rightly demanding high standards from safety-sensitive employees should themselves be among the strongest advocates for a citywide drug testing policy. To advocate otherwise is to send the message of do as I say, not as I do. The employees and citizens of Marion deserve much better than that. The Marion Professional Firefighters Association Local 1937 remains ready to continue to work together towards a policy that is fair and equal for all city employees. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration in this matter.
Thank you. Hold your applause. Thank you. Anyone else to address the council on any matter that is on the agenda but not part of a public hearing? Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. My name is Tracy Petrock, and I'm the one from CJ Cooper. I am the one that interrupted last time, and I apologize for that. So.
Oh, no, that wasn't about the interruption. These meetings are recorded, and we need everyone who speaks at a council meeting to be at the podium in front of the microphone. That's
okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you.
I don't have much to follow regarding the drug and alcohol policy, what these two have reiterated to you, because I agree with them 100%. We had a really good meeting. We all talked, and we all agreed to what was needed. I do agree that it should be all or none, and as you had been told, Mr. Mayor, in your oath, that you're a leader. So you would be leading this city into something that, no, not a lot of cities do. The rate of drug testing and marijuana and stuff in the actual drug-free workplace has gone up 7% in the last year. So you're looking at more and more, and I have to give you a statistic that when you're looking at high school kids that is your new and upcoming workforce, you're talking 61% of the 15 to 16-year-olds are already vaping. They're already vaping, and it's not just cigarettes. It's every other type of oil. It's marijuana, and it's a lot of other stuff. That's your upcoming workforce. And if you can't hit the ground running with a drug-free policy with everybody instead of just safety sensitive, I believe that's just a good precedence that you could set. And even out of your own mouth, change is here, and so are opportunities. And I think this would be a really good time to work on that. And that was it. If you had questions, you sure can ask, but that's what I got.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else address the council on any item that is on the agenda but not part of a public hearing? Okay, then we will proceed with the regular agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda. This will include items A1 through F2 and resolutions 28193 through 28202.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented, items A1 through F2, resolutions 28193 through 28202. Discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion is approved. The next part of the agenda, I will turn over the gavel to Mayor Pro Tem Jensen.
Okay, now we've got the consent agenda with Mayor Abu-Asali's abstention.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve the consent agenda with Mayor Abu-Asali's abstention from voting and discussion as follows. Items B1 through F1, which are resolutions 28203 through 28207.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on any of these items? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries with one abstention. The gavel travels back.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 19-27, amending Chapter 55 of the Marion Code of Ordinances relating to animal protection and control. This will be the second consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the second consideration of ordinance number 19-27, amending Chapter 55 of the Code of Ordinances relating to animal protection and control. Discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion's approved.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 28208, approving fiscal year 2019-2020 operating budget transfers.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 28208, approving the fiscal year 2019-2020 operating budget transfers. Discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 28208, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 28209, approving a fiscal year 2020 Iowa Great Places grant agreement regarding the Uptown Marion Plaza project in the amount of $155,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 28209, approving fiscal year 2020 Iowa Great Places grant agreement regarding Uptown Marion Plaza project in the amount of $155,000. Discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 28209, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion is approved.
Mayor, I make a motion directing staff to draft a drug and alcohol policy to include random testing for all city employees.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to direct staff to draft a drug and alcohol policy to include random testing for all city employees. Discussion. So this gets approved, and there'll be another approval of the final policy, or?
Yeah, we would bring it back to the council with the accompanying resolution for adoption of the policy.
Okay. Discussion. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I was wondering, can I ask Tracy to come back to the podium, please? I have a couple of questions I would like to, just to clarify. I think it would help simplify the documentation that we received up here. Tracy, could you give us just a little bit of a high level, what does that look when we're randomly testing segmentations versus total? Is it a lottery process? How many random tests are done? How are they placed, if you will, if we intentionally try to pull one from every department? Can you just give us a little high-level view? Because I think that education would be very helpful.
Absolutely. We have an actual program that is DOT certified, and with the DOT, they're in a whole different pool. So when you're talking the DOT, you're talking the commercial driver's licenses. You are talking your big truck drivers, okay? They're not in this with the rest of you. So what you are is what they call the workforce. And we can do it however you guys decide to do it. We can divide them up to being, this is the EMS, this is the police department, this is lifeguards, however you want to do that. We can pull whatever percentage or amount of people per month, per quarter, or even a year. My suggestion is that you would do something even like 2 per quarter. You don't really want anybody to understand that, hey, we're only going to get 2 pulled this quarter, so if 2 people get picked and they go and they do their randoms, that I'm free the rest of the quarter and I can do what I want. So you don't want it common knowledge to everybody as to what you would decide on how many to pick. But then it's put in a big, what they call a consortia or a pool. And then we push a button and it picks certain people. Then we would send that right to Jen. Jen is the only one that would get that information. Then it would be up to Jen to either give it to the supervisors and of that division. If you want to make sure it's always a policeman and always an EMS and always a city hall person, that is the choice that you can tell us to do, and we will make it.
Okay. And just as a follow-up question, so just for clarification, because I know this is piggybacked with the DOT regulations. So does DOT trump, or do they layer on top of city's policy for CDL exclusive? So can you explain to us what is required by state, federal law, and then what we would be layering in there as well, so that we don't create segregation or discrimination?
The federal law would be the CDLs. That would be your DOT drivers. When it comes to the workforce, this would be the Iowa. We would follow Iowa state code. So, but what we do is we also mimic the DOT. So everything we're doing with DOT, we would also do for the workforce, because then you're not doing anything different. So I'm not testing DOT for just this, and then you guys, I'm testing for all of these. So, because that would be absolutely unfair.
Okay, so in this particular case, it would just be an additional layer to it that would bring it across the board for all employees if we do.
Correct.
A point was made, and I as well too will continue with my position with this, and that is we are dealing with sensitive information and topics and so forth. So it gets a little bit confusing when we're talking DOT. It's not just strictly vehicles, extension of liability from a motor vehicle, but also workforce supervisory positions that would manipulate somebody's body language or work habits. So I appreciate your additional information on that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I just wanted to say they are trying to pass another law to expand safety sensitive as well. That would include teachers, coaches, bus drivers, the assistants on buses, and stuff like that. So just so you know, they're really expanding the safety sensitive positions.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll make a few more statements in addition to what I made on Tuesday, and so I think I was quoted accurately. So I do appreciate that, and those comments were accurate as to what I talked about on Tuesday related to the drug policy. So what I did talk about on Tuesday was the aspect of, I did feel at that time that there was certainly a reason why certain groups maybe should have been considered to be drug tested. I've talked to a number of people since then. I've given it a lot of additional thought since then as well. But my long-term belief when I was in the business world, and I'm going to say it's going to be still the same now, after giving it a lot more thought, I don't think it would be fair to single out any groups. So if I look at it from the standpoint, I think I agree with all the presentations and the people and the comments made before that it should be all or none. So that's probably a little different statement other than what I made on Tuesday. Certainly the reasonable suspicion and post-accident pieces are necessary, absolutely necessary, and I think those will add a lot to the policy that the city will have.
Yes.
However, as I sit here today, I don't believe I've received enough information. I don't believe I have received enough reason that I think the city needs a citywide random drug testing policy. So I will vote against this when it comes up, if it's proposed again as it is right here.
Yes, Ms. Atkins.
So I have not changed my mind since Tuesday. I'm still in that camp. I operate under the premise that we have hired professionals that are here and doing the best job they can. And I don't see a need for a random drug test, so I'm with the reasonable suspicion as well for all employees other than, I think, the CDLs, which have to have the random. So I'm consistent with where I was on Tuesday. I will also vote no if we want to do random drug testing for all employees or safety-sensitive employees.
So may I speak, or
Okay. Go
if
ahead.
it's okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. When I'm talking about with the random, with the citywide, I have seen in our own business and at our own office some of the most highest regarded people being tested positive for drugs. So looks can be deceiving. So can the label of a job. We have many people, especially with the CBD oil, and especially with marijuana coming down the pipeline. It's coming down the pipeline. It will be here, that it will be legal. And then that's a fight that you'll have to fight. And if you can get a handle on it and be testing everyone, I think it's a really good thing so that people know coming in that this is what this is going to be. You have a lot of people that love to live in Marion, and you have a lot of people that would love to work for Marion. And I think you need to set a precedence.
Can we clarify what the city's policy is for drug testing when they hire employees? So I think that's kind of where you're going. That's a totally different area than the random drug testing.
I'm more
So
talking.
the random drug testing is viewed as after they're already hired. So clarify for us our policy for drug testing for new hires.
We'll let Jen do that.
We do drug screen everybody for pre-employment, and that is separate then from this additional policy. So, yeah, we do that at this time. There's some part-time positions that, like library, that we don't at this point, but we've been playing around with the idea of potentially doing that for pre-employment. But all full-time employees are drug tested as a background screen.
And I'll add two more short comments. First of all, I would certainly reserve my decision for the future if things change, if more information comes about, to consider doing that on a citywide basis, but I will hold to my statement. It'll be all or none. Although when I say all, I do think we need to consider maybe excluding seasonal employees as we talk about it. I know we did not talk about that at all Tuesday. We were starting to talk about safety-sensitive groups and jobs and things like that, but I would think there may be some reason to consider keeping seasonal employees out of that group, since some of them are gone for just a period of weeks or a few months. So I think that would merit future discussion if it goes forward.
Anyone else? Okay, is everyone ready to vote?
If we could get clarification here, I'm a little confused. Are we voting to just simply move forward, but it'll be coming back for the final resolution for the policy at a future agenda?
I think the expectation for tonight was that you would vote which direction you want to move forward, whether it's random screening for all, any of those. In the memo that I provide you, the different different options, if you could give direction on which one of those, that way we can rewrite the policy for you to bring it back and approve. Is that?
Yes, so
So then
you're-
that motion
so it would
is
be
needing
not.
to be amended.
The motion now, as it reads, is for all,
Right.
random testing for all employees.
Yeah,
That
if
would be the
you
direction.
desire something different, you would want to amend the motion. So if you wanted to say that you wanted to do post-accident and reasonable suspicion for all employees, you would amend the motion to direct the staff to draft a policy to include reasonable suspicion and post-accident for all employees, and then that's what we would bring back.
Okay, I was assuming that was already a given.
Yeah, that's how I have it written in the memo. So in the first part of your memo is that the reasonable
Right.
suspicion is assumed that you were moving forward with that. The DOT testing is assumed, and then those 4 options below, that's where I'm looking for direction. So if you will amend it to say any of those 4 would give me direction on how to move forward.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And it sounds like the 2 of you have already said which ones you're doing. Yes.
None.
None. Yes.
Right.
And I apologize. That actually wasn't a way I spelled it out there, but that's fine.
That's fine.
so we wouldn't amend. We would just
We would just vote no.
vote no.
We would.
Yes, okay.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yep, got it.
Anyone else?
But we could amend it right now if someone wanted to make a motion to amend it.
But I think if we vote no, that means it goes to the post-accident reasonable suspicion for everybody. Is that accurate?
I don't know.
I think the confusion portion, if I may interact here, is the reasonable suspicion part to that sentence. So that's where I'm getting conflicting resolutions down here from you two, because this
not.
reads as employees under as reasonable suspicion.
No, so the motion says random testing. That's different than reasonable suspicion,
Correct.
right?
That's why I'm asking who, this is the document, but this is the agenda. They're
Okay.
not the same.
I guess,
I'd be happy to amend it.
yeah, I was going to say, if you could just amend it and then specifically say what you want. Or
I'd be happy to amend the motion directing staff to draft a drug and alcohol policy to include reasonable suspicion and post-accident for all employees and no random drug testing except for those required by the DOT.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to amend the motion to include, say that again, all,
To include reasonable suspicion and post-accident
right, for all employees.
testing for all employees.
And no random testing except for required by the DOT.
Right.
Okay. This discussion on the proposed amendment. I guess I'm fine with the random testing for everyone.
That will be my position as well.
Okay, any further discussion on the proposed motion? All right, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion to amend the motion so that the drug policy will include, again, say it again.
So that it will include reasonable suspicion and
Yeah.
post-accident testing for all employees and no random drug testing except for those required by the
Right.
DOT. So we're just voting on them.
This is just
Amendment.
on the amendment.
Right.
All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no.
No.
No. So we have 3 yeses and 2 noes.
4 noes. Aren't those 2 noes since they're not here?
Well, we have three yeses. I think it passes, correct?
We're just passing the amendment.
You have the majority of the quorum present,
Right.
Your Honor, so I
So-
would say that the yeses carry.
So the motion is now amended. So now we're voting on the motion to direct the staff to draft the drug and alcohol policy
As amended.
as amended, which includes no random testing except as required by the DOT. That's the motion. Okay? All right. Any further discussion on the amended motion? Okay, all those in favor of the amended motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no.
No?
No. So the ayes have it, and motion is passed. Okay.
Your Honor, I move to approve resolution number 28210, accepting the Glen Rock Farms 7th edition to the City of Marion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 28210, accepting Glen Rock Farms 7th edition. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion is approved. At this time, we have a public hearing regarding alley vacations for the alleys located between 5th and 6th Avenues and 11th and 12th Streets. The public hearing is now open. Do you want to say anything about this, or is it pretty self-explanatory?
This is a public hearing regarding the vacation of the alleyways in the block between City Hall and the library.
This is in preparation for the construction project. Okay, is there anyone here to address the council either in favor or in opposition to this measure, vacating these alleys? Please come forward at this time. Have we received comments outside this meeting on this measure?
No.
None? Okay. And any council members receive any communication? No. Okay. Seeing that no one's coming forward to address the council, we'll close the public hearing.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 28211, approving the alley vacations for the alleys located between 5th and 6th Avenues and 11th and 12th Streets, City of Marion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 28211, approving the alley vacations, or vacations of the alleys located between 5th and 6th Avenues and 11th and 12th Streets. Discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 28211, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion is approved. At this time, we have a public comment section for anything that was not on the agenda this evening. This is the time to address the council if you have any item that you would like to discuss that was not on the agenda this evening. Please come forward. Okay. Seeing that there's no one coming forward, we will move on to council comments. Ms. Atkins?
It was just great to, it's interesting to see we had a full house, 20 minutes ago, and now we've got 5 people, so.
It's exciting, wasn't it?
Right? And if anybody's listening, please come and stay. We would really like you to stay. But on a serious note, I just appreciate being able to serve the city another 4 years, and it was really great to have all of everybody present and the celebration, so thank you.
I agree with that comment, but no other comments.
I agree with that comment too, and I'm going to say one little tidbit because I think it's really cool. It's about my family. My mother was here this evening. Her father would have been 101 years old today. And if you think about that, 101 years old, he was born January 9th of 1919, so he was born 191919. I always thought that was cool. I just thought I'd say it tonight, so that's all.
Just Jeanette.
Yep, I'd like to congratulate everybody this evening for your swearing in, and looking forward to working with you over the next couple of years. Would like to also congratulate firefighter Ryan Steffen on his accomplishment. That I, for one, can appreciate the work that goes into something like that at this amount of level, not at what he has accomplished. So congratulations to him. And I'd also like to do a shout out to all of our law enforcement. Today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. For those of our fine folks in uniform, we would like to thank you for your services and a heartfelt to your families. I always kind of like to remind people it was you that signed up for this career, not your family, but yet it's our families that support those careers. So thank you, and thank you to everyone across the nation for that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to our law enforcement officers for everything you do. I was a little bit disappointed that Councilmember Draper was not able to be here for the oath of office. I do believe that he would be the oldest person taking the oath of office to serve on the city council, and that was going to be a special celebration. But wish him well. Hope to see him back here soon. Just want to remind everyone of the State of the City luncheon on the 23rd, 11:30 at the Cedar Rapids Marriott. There'll be a lot to celebrate as usual. Hope to see everyone there. Thank you. Mr. Jensen, we have a motion for closed session.
You betcha. Mayor, I make a motion to adjourn to exempt session regarding collective bargaining as permitted under Section 20.17, subparagraph 3 of the Code of Iowa.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to adjourn to exempt session regarding collective bargaining as permitted by the Code of Iowa. May we have the legal department statement, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have reviewed the material that is the subject of the motion, and it is my opinion that it is appropriate to review it in an exempt session and recommend that the council adjourn accordingly. Under Iowa Code Section 20.17, subparagraph 3. A little different than the closed session code.
Okay.
So.
Thank you for that. If there's no discussion, we'll take the roll call vote.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Jensen?
Yes.
Mayor Abu-Osley?
Yes?
Mr. Brandt?
Yes.
Mr. Sternad?
Yes.
Okay, we're now adjourned to exempt session, and we'll return to open session upon completion. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.